We welcome you to episode 55 of Battin and Chattin here in the Eastern Observer. Alongside Denis Tuohy, I'm Brandon Natale. Before we get started, please hit that subscribe button on YouTube to be kept in on the loop on everything Eastern Observer and most importantly, Battin and Chattin. Our show can be found on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and wherever else podcasts can be found. Dennis, how you doing today in this fine evening? How are those pretzels?
I'm doing still horrible.
Really?
I don't like this brand. The last brand my parents got, I liked a lot more. I don't know why they didn't get that one again. Weird. This is like the wholesale club that they got this from. This is their brand instead of the Utz brand that my parents got last time. I'm really disappointed. Now, moving on. I'm excited. This is their 55th episode. The Sammy Hagar episode. The Hideki Matsui episode. The Dikembe Mutombo episode. I'll try the accent from Mutombo, but I don't think Dikembe Mutombo.
Yeah, I don't want to sound more cheesy than we already do, but hey, I don't care. Because you know what I'm going to say? Do you drive 55?
I can't drive 55.
Actually,
I can't. I physically can't. I physically can't. On my
I didn't mean that. That was
on
wrong
my
pipe.
road test. They said, "Dude, you need to
alive.
slow down," and I just fucking blew right past it. What do you want me to say?
Yeah. Hey. Well, like I said, I can't drive 55. I love Sammy Hagar. My dad says that's his favorite out of David Lee Roth, and if he had to pick what side of Van Halen, he says Van Halen was more musically like something about them. They were more like, yeah, you know what I mean. Like they were more like music. Not that they weren't before with David Lee Roth.
Better composed,
right? Yeah, like I guess with David Lee Roth, you could say they were more like rock and roll, like heavy. And then with like David Lee Roth, they became pretty instrumental, like musical. Still rock and roll vibe, of course, but obviously you know what I mean.
I don't think you can really disagree with that. I've heard that from a lot of people. And now I like the heavier Van Halen stuff with like Romeo Delight, Mean Street, things like that were like heavier songs. But yeah, I could understand why somebody would prefer the Sammy Hagar era.
But I just realized
it's a little more. The Sammy Hagar era, I think, sounded a little more like classic rock. Do you know what I'm saying? And I mean, there's still a great song. Dreams is a masterpiece.
I love. I'm gonna say
Black and Blue is a good one. They had some good ones. Best of Both Worlds.
Yeah, no, it's great.
There's a lot of good ones, but I think I prefer the David Lee Roth era.
That was
the reason why I almost said Def Leppard was because same thing with Def Leppard. I don't like Pour Some Sugar on Me.
Really?
Animal I can't stand. Photograph I like, but my brother really liked it in high school and he used to play it all the freaking time on the CD player. He used to turn it back.
Story I got to tell you before. Fun story I got to tell you, and you would love it. We were in the same computer tech class where we would practice on the keyboard, and that's how I actually am good at typing as I am now. I'm very good. I thank the class. I think it was Miss Spillane who taught me. Shout out to Miss Spillane at Plainage High School. I'm pretty sure she's still there. Not sure.
Cool.
She was really cool, but she was great, and I did good. So I was pretty good in the class, and it taught me how to type as I can now. But anyways, your brother, she would give us the option to play songs. Your brother played that song. That's where I first heard Photograph. Was in freshman year of high school, in 2014.
Wow.
But like you said, your brother used to play it all. But that was,
shout out to brother Liam. If he's listening he probably is listening to this when this goes up. But yeah.
But Battin and Chattin, hey, I mean, we ain't MTV. Will be fun, but this is Battin and Chattin here in the Eastern Observer. A lot has been going on in the baseball world. The Chicago White Sox almost made history. The Yankees are number one again, currently, right now, and New York Mets. It's been pretty interesting. They're on a West Coast road trip. So that should be interesting. Poor Mike Trout. The injury bug has got to him again. I recently started reading the Willie Mays book, 24, Life Lessons, and it's by him and John Shea, I think the guy's name is. It's a pretty good book. I actually learned a lot of I've been, you know, learning a lot about Willie Mays, and um, it's really good. The book definitely emphasizes that, and it said in the last chapter I read in chapter 3, not to spoil anything, but it emphasizes that there were, I forgot who said it, but the book quoted that, there is plenty of ball players in the Negro Leagues that were way better than Willie Mays. We just didn't get to see them. Like there were players that were on the same caliber as him. They just didn't get to see it because obviously the players that did, the the color barrier wasn't broken yet by Jackie Robinson. So, and then obviously it talks about how Willie Mays was, how when he came over to San Francisco, it was kind of hard for him to kind of get a grasp of the fan base because they were huge on Joe DiMaggio. Joe DiMaggio was known for being, the kid from San Francisco, and then eventually Willie Mays kind of took over that spot. You know, so but I started reading that book, and yeah, that's that.
It's interesting.
Yeah,
The
if
Joe
I finish it,
DiMaggio part.
I'll give it to you if you want to read it.
No, thank you. I know me. I'm never going to get around to it. I have books. Where's that? I've had this book here since March. I think I've shown it on camera before.
What
I
book is
can
that?
never get used to it. Call of the Wild and White Fang. They're like classics. Written by Jack London, Canadian guy, in like the early
not from London.
1900s. They made a Harrison Ford movie about it a couple years ago. And it's about a dog who
Yes,
is like a domesticated dog who goes into the wild
Harrison Ford. Yeah, I
and
know what
has
you're
to like
talking about.
revert back to his roots of hunter gatherer kind of stuff.
Yes.
White Fang is the opposite. It's about a feral dog who becomes domesticated. Great concept. I know they're North American classics. I get it. Had it since March. I bought it at Barnes and Noble after a shift at work. I was working at another store in Lake Success, and next to it was a Barnes and Noble in that same strip mall, and a Shake Shack down the way. So I went to Barnes and Noble on the way to Shake Shack and was looking around. And it's a Call of the Wild. Someone directionless in life at the moment. Maybe this could be interesting. And I never got around to it. It's just next to me on this nightstand. It has been for months. Same thing with Lord of the Rings. Same thing with The Wager, which was written by the guy who made Killers of the Flower Moon. I tried to read. I can't. If I'm assigned a book to read for school, I'm really good. If I'm engaged, I'm really good. Like when I read Perks of Being a Wallflower, that was a great book. I couldn't put it down. I literally finished the book. I went way past where I was supposed to for school and stuff like that. I would stop enough just to do the homework and I'd keep reading when I was in college because I liked it that much. But if I'm not forced to get, because it's the first chapters, first chapters of books are always slow. So that's where I get stuck at. I don't care. I'm just going to go back to reading Spider-Man.
There's people in college.
Well, even Spider-Man.
There's people in college that we were assigned a book. I was the one that actually read the book from page 1 to page. The people were telling me you actually read it. I was like, yeah, you didn't either. Like no, I just looked up just skimmed it. They either skimmed it or they looked up summaries. I was like, damn, you know what I mean?
What book?
I think it was called The Coming.
Oh, that was when we had to read freshman year. I like that. That was a good book.
It was it was a great book. Very sad and very tragic, very traumatizing too.
Very accurate.
Yes, and you know what I mean. It was very very tragic. I don't know if I have it signed. I mean, the author came to our college. I don't know if I have it signed.
Mm-hmm. I have it signed.
Was that with you that night? I think I remember when you got it signed.
I don't know.
But either way,
I
but no,
remember I
yeah.
was with
So,
Mike, a buddy of mine, Mike from high school. Was with me.
but yeah, no, it's
I don't remember if you were with me too.
it was a great book, and anyway, so the Willie Mays book, it's a pretty good book. So it definitely details a lot of his come ups. Now, quick fact: I want to test your baseball knowledge. So, because you know way baseball than me. Like, I don't mean to, I'm saying like I know baseball, but you know how I know football. You know baseball.
Hmm.
There's no denying that. Do you know this guy, Satchel Paige?
Yes, I do. I
Who
do
is
know
he?
Satchel Paige. He was basically, I mean, the way to describe him was he was the Cy Young of the Negro Leagues. That's the easiest way to describe it to a casual baseball fan.
Right. Yeah.
He was a monster at pitching, arguably the best pitcher ever. By the time he got to the majors after segregation, stuff like that, they had no clue how old he was. I mean, you got to keep in mind, he was probably born. He was born after slavery, but still at a time where record keeping and whatnot was not what
Right.
it
Up
is
to date.
now. So they had no clue how old he was. Supposedly, he was pitching in the majors when he was like 60 something years old. And his
He was so
stats are just
dominant.
ridiculous. He was dominant.
But yeah, no, yeah.
Dominant.
All right. Yep. There you go. You know your baseball.
Yeah, I
You got it.
learned who he was. This is funny because on MVP Baseball 2005, EA used to have a baseball series called MVP Baseball 2000. That's what it was, MVP Baseball. They did 03, 04, and I think 05 might have been the last one. Maybe they did 06.
Right.
I have 05. And they had like a golden era team and like a modern, like a silver age baseball team of like the best of the best. So the golden age was, I guess, everything until like 1950s because Mickey Mantle was on it. And Satchel Paige was on that team, and he used to throw the knuckleball. But he had the knuckleball, the palm ball, a changeup, a curveball, and a fastball. He had a high 90s fastball, but he had the knuckleball with it. So I used to switch between the fastball and the knuckleball, give people fits. My godbrother came over once. He's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll play your baseball game with him." And I'll play your baseball game with you. So I sat down with my dude Connor, played with him, and he didn't know the racket I was running. He's like, "All right, I'll play the American League All-Star team. All right, you're gonna get smoked." I'm like, no, you don't know what you're in for. So I kept throwing the knuckleball at him, and he was getting mad. So yeah, I know who Satchel Paige was. And then once again, in the sporting news, they did a top 100 players of all time in 1999, or the 100 best players of the century, whatever it is. I forget the wording of it. And Satchel Paige was on there too. I think he was like, don't quote me on this. I think he was like 45, 46th best. They had him.
Wow, that's pretty big.
Yeah. It was weird. It was a weird book because they had the Negro League players and the MLB players, but they didn't have Sadaharu O from Japan. So I don't know the qualifications.
Okay.
I always thought it was kind of weird. Looking back at it as I got to know more about baseball
Right. Yeah.
outside of the U.S., I always thought it was weird.
Right.
That
Nice. You
I
definitely.
don't think it was specified as major league best players. It was weird.
You definitely. You definitely know
odd.
your stuff.
Yeah. Now I don't know if he actually threw
But he was the
knuckleball
actual.
that dominated my godbrother, but
Supposedly, he's actually the first African American pitcher inducted in the Hall of Fame too.
yeah, I could believe that.
Yeah, that's how dominant he was. Like, by the time he got to the majors, to the MLB, he was he was up there. I think he was in his 40s. But so it's a great book. Quick thing before we get into the other stuff. I wanted to show. I didn't show this last week, but I want to show it now. I know we always talk about. So obviously, I don't think we ever talk about fantasy as much, but players they don't really care as much about fantasy, and which goes to show it. I don't know if you saw this. Brent Roker recently posted. I saw this on social media, and I got Joey to put this on it. To put this on here. So it's funny. This random user said, "You sold me yesterday, one leg away from 21K, and you could only hit singles, my brother." And Brent Roker says, My brother, I cannot even begin to express how much I do not care. So I just thought that was funny.
I love that. I love that. Not only do I love that, but I love Brent Rooker because I have him on my fantasy team, and he has been hot.
I had him and then I dropped
Oh,
him.
my hair looks horrible. I should
Hey,
have
you're
known
good.
that.
I had him and then I dropped him because I didn't know how good he was going to be.
Yeah.
Actually, wrong on that. I had him and then I dropped him because he was in a bad slump. And then Sean, not that I do care about the league. My team sucks. So, not much for me to care. Sean kept bragging in my face. He's like, "Thank you for Brandon Roker, Brandon." I said, "Okay, yeah, no problem." If it was football, I'd actually be like pretty upset. Not that I still don't care, but it's like, hey, my team sucks. So, hey, all right, enjoy Brandon Roker. Like I said, not that I don't care, but it's like, hey, my team's already trash in fantasy. So, go ahead, have him. Merry Christmas. But the White Sox, man, it's crazy. I didn't realize how bad they are. They almost broke. They almost made history. It's crazy. Let's see.
Do you want to hear something funny?
Yeah, I'm always down for anything.
They lost 21 straight games.
I did. I didn't know that. They almost beat the Phillies.
They're in the A's. They're playing the A's last night. And before the game started, the A's PA person, whoever that plays the music, was playing Taylor Swift's 22.
Oh,
White Sox win 5-1 or something like that, 6-1. So, yeah, I mean, oh my gosh, that team. I was saying it. I still do my college radio show every
yes.
Monday, 8 to 10 on Old Westbury Web Radio. And
Mhm.
I was saying to my co-host, Josh Gable.
Shout out to Josh Gable.
Yeah, our buddy. I was saying to him, it's crazy that people don't remember this was a championship contender 2 years ago. And then Houston beat them in the playoffs. And since then, it's just been a downward spiral.
Yeah, I mean, is there any talent? I feel they. I don't know why they didn't trade the reliever Crockett.
Kopech,
Yeah, why did they decide to keep him?
the package probably wasn't what they were looking for. I mean, they got to rebuild. They
They
got
should
to
have tried to get. Yeah,
completely tear it down. Andrew McCutcheon just hit a homer. 4-4, Padres Pirates.
you could
Bottom
see
of
the
the fourth.
Phillies. They almost came close to the Phillies losing streak, which was in 1961. Since 1901, you got the 61 Phillies who lost 23 straight. The White Sox almost made history. They almost lost 21 games. The Orioles in '88 lost 21.
Mm-hmm. That
The
was to start their
Montreal
season.
the Montreal Expos in '69 lost 20. The 1943 Philly Athletics lost 20. Then the 16 Philadelphia Athletics lost 20. And then the Boston Americans lost 20. So that's, do you think it's harder to lose 21 games or win 21 games? I feel like when the A's had that run,
Win.
that, what?
Easy, harder to win that many games.
Right. It's harder to win, definitely. Because, but tell me you can't win at least one game from the White Sox.
Tell it to the A's.
I feel like the A's are in a better spot than the A's could be in a better
You would
spot. Rather.
think. You would think, but they lost last night. That's the thing about baseball. And the
What
weird thing
scares
is,
me-
the White Sox had a lot of close losses in those games. They blew leads, things like that. It's not like they're getting ran out 10 runs.
That's true. What am I say?
It's bad team, bad luck.
Yeah, if you're not able to close out the games, that's just what
I feel bad for the players. It's not like they're not trying.
They finally won a game against the Athletics. That was 5-1 on Tuesday. That was yesterday. They lost today.
Aside from Kopech, I don't know if a single one of their players is even on a fantasy roster in either league I'm on. I don't care to look.
My
I'm
God.
honest. I'm being honest.
No, I know. Yeah, I
They're
know.
that out of the realm. Eric Fetty's not there anymore.
A lot of these games were pretty close. It's definitely just looking at the schedule, looking at the teams. That's just sad. They didn't have one game, one win after the All-Star break. That's pathetic.
Yeah.
And who do you blame that on? Is it the players, or it can't be the manager at this point? Like,
I don't know. I don't know. It's the GM's job to put together a team. But at the same time, too, like I said, they were a contender a few years ago. And then Tony La Russa came in, and I know people are going to blame it, them falling apart on him. I still think that he gets too much flack for them being bad. I don't know. You look at all the players that left since them, it's not like any of them turned their career around. Tim Anderson's out of the league. Lance Lynn probably should be out of the league. Luis Robert Jr. still can't stay healthy. Eloy Jimenez still can't stay healthy. Jose Abreu's out of the league.
my God.
Yasmani Grandal is Yasmani Grandal. He's probably getting a ton of walks and probably striking out 800 times a game and can't hit the ball out of the outfield. Out of the infield. If I had to guess, I haven't looked at his stats. I'm not trying to hate on the guy. I'm sure he's, a prince and a great guy. But he is a one-trick pony. His OPS plus is 61. We know league average is 100. 200 batting average, 4 home runs, 19 RBIs this season. How many walks? Probably something ridiculous, like 80 with this dude. Come on, scroll down. My laptop's been driving me up the wall today. Oh, my gosh. Slower than molasses going uphill in January. Come on, I need you now. I'm recording. Seven walks. He's in 49 games for the Pirates. So none of those players that they had were good afterwards. Maybe it's fair to make an argument. Did they just benefit from a bad division? And as the league is becoming, you play every team and not just the ones in your division, now more so than ever. Well, yeah, now more so than ever. Maybe they just got exposed over the last 2 seasons. Maybe the talent was just never as good as people thought. Maybe guys peaked at the right time. I don't know. I definitely do think that out of all the teams that I can remember watching in sports, their fall off is the most drastic I could recall. Because none of the guys from that core are good. None of them. I just said all their main guys. If you want to say Eloy and Luis Robert Jr., that's fine. Neither of them can stay healthy, which was a problem when they were doing good. Yohan Moncada, is he that good? They tried to solve the Tim Anderson problem by bringing in Elvis Andrus. That didn't really pan out. They tried to solve the health issue by bringing in Andrew Benintendi. That didn't work out. It's not like they didn't try. Honestly, the same thing could be said about the Angels. People say like they wasted Mike Trout's career. They got C.J. Wilson. They got Tim Lincecum. Didn't they get Noah Syndergaard from you guys? Wasn't that the team you went to right after you?
They got Albert Pujols.
Well, they had Albert Pujols already. They got Anthony Rendon.
Yeah.
It wasn't for a lack of trying. I think the White Sox are kind of the same. That division is always weird too. There's always a team like that in Central divisions.
I hope
Not
the
this
Mets.
year in the NL Central, but always a team that's just so much worse than everybody else. For a while, it was the Pirates. Growing up, for me and you, it was the Astros and the Cubs before the Astros moved to the AL West from the NL
Right.
Central. It is the way it is. Like there's tanking teams, and then there's teams that are what the White Sox are.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. And then
I don't know.
yeah, and just is what I thought. Like Bill Parcells speaks, like says, your record is what it says it is. If you're 27 and 88, or 86, if that's the record,
You sorry?
I believe that's the record, right? I know they have 27
I
and
don't have it in front of me.
but either way, your record is what it is. So, at that point, people down the line, people are going to say, like, why was the record that the way it is? I guess there's many different factors. I guess at this point, from what you're explaining to me, it has to be the players.
They're 28 and 89.
Oh, it's close. But, like, either way, like, the players are to blame.
I don't know.
And that's tough. But either way, hopefully they get it situated. I mean, it's going to take a while. I mean, baseball, it's not easy to rebuild. Gene Larkin even said it to us.
No, it's not. If I had to really guess, truth be told, if I really had to guess, is it a coincidence that around the time the White Sox bought in, the Bulls bought in, and around the time they both start declining rapidly? I mean, it is the same owner, Jerry Reinsdorf. Both franchises, well, not the White Sox, but the Bulls have been irrelevant since Michael Jordan. Give or take a few years. Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah, DeMar DeRozan wasn't bad.
I was going to say, Derrick Rose and
good
Joakim
enough.
Noah,
They got screwed again. Same thing with the White Sox. Got screwed by injuries. Lonzo Ball's career is. This is sad, but it's basically over because of
I just
injuries.
thought about that family today too, the Ball family. I don't know what got me talking about them.
So, it is at the end of the day, and this is something that could be applicable to life outside of sports and outside of this program. There is a part of life that, as much as people hate to say it, is just luck. Did you know Tim Anderson was going to fall off a cliff and not be able to hit water if he fell out of a boat?
No.
No, me neither. Did you know Yasmani Grandal was seemingly going to age 15 years and won? No. Lance Lynn, I could kind of see why that failed. A lot of mileage. His career was basically irrelevant for a couple of years there. Then turned it around with the Rangers. Even then, he was dominant in the first half of the year every year, and then kind of really drastically fell off around mid-August into October. So there were some warning signs. But again, if you're winning the division, you're winning the division.
Mm.
Or at least, getting in the playoffs. So I honestly think how bad the Tigers were around that time, how bad the Royals were around that time, and the Twins and Cleveland was just flip a coin. One of them is going to make the playoffs this year, one of them's not. That it allowed a team that did go all in on star players, aging veterans 1 year, that it did allow them to rise to the top. I think it's interesting. I really do. You don't see teams like this that often that just fail this hard, this soon after being competitive.
Yeah.
Because I think it's more than the Tony La Russa thing. I think even at the time, the discourse around Tony La Russa came down to prove me right. That's what it was. People were coming up with everything under the sun not to like the guy for the White Sox. The DUI thing, all right, fine, I get it. He made comments about kneeling for the national anthem that people didn't like. All right, fine, I could see both sides of that. And people, the other thing that I always said at the time, which was nonsense, and you remember me saying it on our college show, was people saying that the culture of the sport changed too much. Guys, pimp home runs now and stuff like that. Tony La Russa is an old school manager. That's great. But the 80s A's were probably flashier than most teams now. You had Ricky Henderson. You had Jose Canseco. You had Mark McGuire. You had guys that certainly played with a level of showmanship. And Tony La Russa kind of played into that. So that, to me, I never thought he was given a fair shot to begin with. Truth be told. So
yeah, no, I agree. I feel like there definitely was a lot of stuff around Tony La Russa.
Yeah,
La Russa.
Yeah, I didn't realize our boy Dr. Tony was going to manage a team. He probably would manage the White Sox better than what they are right now. I'm kidding. But I mean, if you look at his fantasy team, they're loaded.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know. Even then, if you think it's the Tony La Russa thing, who hired him? But does the owner play? No. So, I don't know. It's weird. I hope these guys could turn it around.
We'll see. We'll see. But Mike Trout, poor guy.
This is another one. Bad luck.
I remember as I read the book, the Willie Mays book, Mike Trout is talked about similar to Willie Mays. And I guess this is before he got hurt. Because the book came out in 2020. This is before, I guess, like I said, the injury bug, I guess, kind of plagued him. And I'm sure he's had injuries here and there throughout his career, but now it's kind of taken a toll on his career to a whole nother level.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I do think Mike Trout's very overrated.
Okay.
In a historic sense. And now, I think if you ask me, even in their primes, who's the better player between him and Aaron Judge, I would still say Aaron Judge. I get it. I'm wearing the Yankee jersey right now. It sounds biased. I understand. But even as a Yankees fan, in 2022, what I saw Aaron Judge do was unbelievable. Forget the 62 home runs. The way he dragged and elevated a horrific lineup, not to the playoffs, to the ALCS, is unbelievable.
Yeah, no,
unbelievable.
I agree.
And times were so desperate that year that he let off a lot for the Yankees that season. Something I think they should have considered going back to this year. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I in terms of like career, legacy, whatever, I think he's overrated. I think it's a shame that he keeps getting hurt to not add to that legacy. But at the same time, too, how many more times am I going to buy into it? The stats coming out of April. Oh, look at everything he's doing. Here's a question, and it's a genuine question.
Yeah,
why is he still playing center field?
Maybe he should DH or maybe go on the infield like Bryce Harper.
You think? Have they ever asked him this? I think this is a fair question to ask.
Yeah, no, it's
nobody
very fair.
asks it, and the second you say it online, people make it sound like you're evil. Are some of Mike Trout's problems Mike Trout's fault?
Probably not. Maybe it's just bad, mismanagement.
I feel bad. People say I feel bad for him. The Angels are wasting his career. He chose to extend. He's not from California. He didn't grow up an Angels fan.
It's true. It's very true.
He still plays center field.
So he's doing it to himself.
Not that I think him getting hurt is his fault, but I do think it's fair to hold him to the same standard we hold Ted Williams too. We held Ted Williams too. We as media held Ted Williams too. He had got the Triple Crown one year. He didn't win the MVP. Ted Williams. And like Mike Trout, people argued that Mike Trout should have gotten an MVP over Miguel Cabrera. Joe DiMaggio got it over Ted Williams that year. That was the year 55-game hit streak. 55 episode. Look at that. Or I think maybe he had 56. I forget. Over 50.
It was 55.
It was? I thought it was. Thank you.
They talked about it in the book, too.
So, I do think there's kind of parallels there. The way Don Mattingly is talked about. What's Don Mattingly's legacy? The only great Yankee to never win a World Series. Hopefully, Aaron Judge gets his. His career's still going on, so he's excluded from that. That's Don Mattingly's legacy. If he got a World Series ring, he's probably in the Hall of Fame. He doesn't have the same off-field blemishes that Keith Hernandez has. He wasn't as good defensively as Keith Hernandez, but he was, kind of a 1 and 2 of all-time defensive first baseman. The hitman posters, things like that. He was winning an MVP or two, or at least finishing top 3 a lot. He was the man.
Yeah.
Didn't make it to the playoffs, and he was held to that standard. Dave Winfield was held to that standard. Now, New York media could be harsher than other places, but I don't know. I feel bad. Anytime Mike Trout comes up, I just instantly turn into a hater, but who else is going to, for lack of better phrasing, who else is going to keep it real?
Someone's got to keep it real.
And for those of you that are saying that it's too harsh to say, winning a World Series is hard, I understand. We're not expecting him to have a ring on his finger.
Yeah.
He made the playoffs once at the beginning of his career.
It's just his career is definitely more deserving than what it is. Yeah. It's a shame.
And listen, I know people are going to say, well, it's a team sport or whatever. The problem is what I saw Aaron Judge do in 2022. Because the AL East is way, way, way harder that year than it ever was. The AL West ever was for Mike Trout. Ever. Ever. And like I said earlier, it's not for a lack of trying. CJ Wilson, Tim Lincecum, Syndergaard, Rendon. I feel like they had some other guys too in that span that they tried. They tried out. People forget before Mike Trout got there, they were a good team. They were a perennial winner when Mike Scioscia was the manager. Right. Vladimir Guerrero, Eric Ibar. I think Sean Figgins was over there. Maybe Howie Kendrick. Kendrys Morales was there too. They had good teams.
They did have some good teams. Yeah, Kendrick. I remember Kendrick Morales, Howie Kendrick. Obviously to try that Anthony Rendon, it just hasn't worked out to what it should be. I know you said he was having a good game today. But no, I feel like Mike Trout has kind of done these things that have happened to him. A lot of them, just he's done it to himself. Like you said, he didn't choose to extend with the Angels. When is he supposed to? Was he supposed to be a Yankee?
I don't know. Oh yes, you're right. You're right. The Yankees signed Nick Swisher, and that it was either Nick Swisher or it was the Mark Teixeira free agent signing.
Really?
Wait, really? Mark Teixeira. They signed a player. I forget which one it is. They signed a player early in free agency. You remember that stupid rule they have for some reason that if you sign someone too early, you give up a draft pick?
Yeah.
Because that should be allowed for whatever the hell reason.
And so after that, they couldn't get Mike Trout?
That would have been the Yankees pick. That pick they forfeited was Mike Trout.
Oh, that sucks.
Sure, you're telling me.
You know what? It happens.
We would have had Derek Jeter, A-Rod,
Mike Trout. That would have been pretty. That would have been pretty cool. That would have been pretty cool to see. But now you guys got Aaron Judge.
Yeah, who I think is better.
Hopefully Mike Trout. He's got to definitely, if he wants to stay in the majors for at least, I don't know how long, but I know he's battled injuries at least for the past couple of years. It's not good. Obviously right now he's been dealing with what was his injury? He had a
Calf strain.
calf strain. Was it a meniscus?
I didn't see exactly what it was.
I think it was a torn. If I'm correct, it was a torn. Yes. So hold on, let me just find it.
Another thing is, with all the leg injuries he's had, why is he playing center field? That's just what I'm going to keep going back to.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Why are you playing the most physically demanding position outside of catcher?
He's out. So yeah, no, obviously 6 days
And
ago he was announced that he's out with a another meniscus tear.
in a spacious center field, Torrey Hunter, another guy that they tried to bring in. A spacious center field. You look at those Jim Edmonds highlights, those Torrey Hunter highlights. Oh my gosh. It's not some of these stadiums that are short and center. It's deep. It's a lot of ground to cover.
But what was I gonna say? But yeah, it's just if Mike Trout wants to stay in the majors, at least for, like I said, I don't know how long, maybe another 5 years, to give or take. He's definitely got to consider a position change. This is not good. It's from what this is. Come on, you look at Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper had to get Tommy John. His arm is not the same as it used to be.
No.
Now he's a DH / first baseman. It happens. You got to do it, especially in football. As a cornerback, you might not be the same. You look at Charles Woodson. He was a cornerback, but then he switched to safety. And he was able to play in the league for 18 years. Getting back to baseball. If you can't be a starting pitcher anymore, you go to the closer. It happens. I don't know what the Angels and Mike Trout haven't been doing to change that. And, they're just doing more damage than good.
Yeah. I just always get concerned when it's the same players on the same teams getting hurt all the time. Same reason why I hate the Rays. I hate the Rays. I think they're the worst part of baseball. I think they represent the worst part of baseball. They never spend money. They run their players into the ground. They pump and dump them. And it's bad for the sport. It's bad for the league. And why the hell, if you live in Tampa Bay, would you ever want to see that godforsaken team? At some point, you run out of sympathy. And I feel bad for Mike Trout because he seems like such a nice guy. Now, I don't know anything about the guy, but I'm sure he's nice. I don't know. Never heard anything bad.
But like I said, it's just.
I hope he comes back, dude. I hope he comes back.
But there needs to be change.
Wins an MVP.
There needs to be change.
I hope he comes back, proves me wrong, wins an MVP, wins a World Series doing it, ALCS MVP, World Series MVP, calls me up on the phone personally, tells me to go kick rocks. But at the same time, too, is any of that going to happen again? No.
You never know.
It's not. He's probably never going to be an all-star again. At this rate, he can't stay healthy. And neither him nor the team seem to be doing anything about it. I don't know if it's an ego thing, the center field piece. But isn't that a little odd to you? That's the thing that I never see brought up. I honestly only thought of it today on air. Why is he still playing center field? He's this great generational talent. I know. All the other greats did it. Ken Griffey Jr. Yeah. How did that age? I hate to be that guy. I'm sorry, 90s kids. I apologize. I grew up watching Cincinnati Reds Ken Griffey Jr., not Seattle Mariners Ken Griffey. He was horrible when I grew up watching him because he couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah,
he was older. He couldn't stay healthy, and he fell off a cliff in Cincinnati. Horrible's being rude, but he didn't age well. Andrew Jones. You want to talk about falling off a cliff? What are his stats like the last couple of years of his career?
Very true. I agree. I remember Andrew Jones. I remember him.
And they're not the only one. Byron Buxton, Eric Davis 2.0, Glass Cannon. Eric Davis, best 162 games to ever start a career. 60 home runs, 60 stolen bases, or 80 stolen bases. Yeah, find me someone better.
That's a lot.
Didn't happen in 1 year. Now he's remembered by many people, if he's remembered at all, as having the weird batting stance with the bat down here, hip level, and being Darryl Strawberry's best friend. He won a ring. He left it all on the table, lacerated his kidney in the World Series, diving after a ball.
Oof,
Left it all on the field. Had a resurgence with the Orioles in the late 90s, and it wasn't enough. Couldn't stay healthy. Excellent player. And I think he moved from center to left, and he lacerated his kidney and left. This was back. He was on the Reds. This was back before, obviously, the universal DH. Won a ring, a 90, swept the A's. And even that team, when you think of the 1990 Reds, people think of their bullpen first, with Randy Myers, Norm Charlton, and Rob Dibble, the Nasty Boys, as people called them. It's sad. It's sad to watch these caliber talents just not live up to their potential. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks as a fan. I can't imagine being an Angels fan. I'm happy that Giancarlo Stanton, even though he's better when he plays the field, at the plate, he's better. He's more engaged. He says he likes playing in the field more. Buddy, I need you to play. I need you to, show up. So if the Yankees put Giancarlo Stanton out as DH, I don't care. I don't care. Yeah, it'd be nice to see him play outfield. He was a darn good outfield in Miami. He was a good fielder.
Mm.
But you need to show up. The same thing with Royce Lewis on the Twins. Exciting player, fun to watch, great in the postseason. Loved it. Loved every second of it. But, dude, you got to stay on the field. Maybe Royce Lewis is a third baseman, but maybe center field is just too much for Trout, especially at this age of in his career. It's not for everybody, and that's normal.
No, I agree. But I feel like we talked enough about Mike Trout.
I think we did.
The
Get back soon, buddy. That's what I want to say.
I'll think get back healthy. Definitely think about your career, what you want to do. Because, like I said, if you want to stay in the league, you got to change it up. What's been going on with Freddie Freeman's son, Max? Have you heard about that?
Oh, this is sad. His son
he's okay,
is
though, right?
sick. Yeah, he's alive. He's good, everything like that. But still, sad for a little kid to go through.
Thank God. Yeah, no, I agree. But thank God he's okay.
His son got sick, and he obviously Freddie Freeman was time for it. He's back now. My computer is slow today, so it might take me a second to get it up. I forget exactly what it's called that he had, and exactly what it is, what it does, whatnot. But his son was in the hospital for I guess about over a week, something like that.
Yeah.
And now Freddie Freeman is back. He has Guillain-Barré syndrome. His 3-year-old son had Guillain-Barré syndrome. He was in full body paralysis.
Ooh.
He's back home after spending 8 days in the pediatric intensive care unit, battling Guillain-Barré syndrome, a rare life-threatening disease, a life-threatening form of paralysis. Max still has a long road ahead of him to regain his strength and relearn how to walk, but we are so thankful to have our family back together. Freddie, first baseman of the Los Angeles Dodgers, and his wife, Chelsea, posted on Instagram Sunday. He developed a limp on July 22nd. By the end of the day, he was unable to walk. Several doctors believe Max had transient synovitis, a more common condition involving inflammation that can affect the hip and ability to walk following a viral infection. The Freemans were told to give him Tylenol and sent home. But within 2 days, Max could no longer sit up and had stopped eating and drinking.
Oh my
July
God.
26, Chelsea took Max to a pediatrician who told her she needed to take her son to the hospital immediately. The paralysis had progressed to Max's diaphragm, and they didn't think he was going to be able to breathe that long. Max rapidly declined and went to full-body paralysis. He spent several days on a ventilator to support his lung function. The hardest part for Freddie was my 3-year-old son needing help to breathe, but 5 days earlier he was doing front flips.
My God.
So that's sad. After 8 days in the ICU, Max's condition improved enough to have his breathing tube removed. Within 6 minutes, he was sitting on me. Freddie added, on Saturday, Max was cleared to go home, but he will need to relearn how to do pretty much everything.
Wow.
It's a shame. And
At least, yeah.
like I said, 3 years old, young kid.
Wow. That's crazy. Thank God like I said, thank God he's okay.
Yeah.
It sucks that he has to relearn everything, but hopefully he finds a way to get back to where he was. It's very unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
But on a lighter note, the Yankees, they've been picking it up, man. Let me tell you, what do you think of Jazz Chisholm? What do you think of him becoming a Bronx Bomber?
I'm all for it. I'm all for it. He's proved me wrong, man. He's really proved me wrong. You remember I wasn't keen on it. I said it.
No, you weren't. No.
Some of our group chats, I didn't like it. He's played 7 games for us on Baseball Reference. Played 2 today, so that's going to add to his stats. So far with the Yankees, batting .300, only 5 strikeouts, 3 walks, 2 stolen bases, both in the same game, funny enough. 8 RBIs, 4 home runs, 9 hits, 7 runs scored, an OPS plus of 190. So 90 points better than average since joining us. I don't know. He's playing a darn good third base too.
That's good. It's something I think you guys probably need. You guys needed that push.
We most certainly did. I'm actually writing an article about that right now.
That's good.
But yeah, man, we needed it. Gleyber Torres, DJ LeMahieu, and Alex Verdugo have been horrible. And we need them to do well for our team to succeed. I'm sick and tired of, being a day late and a dollar short. The New York Yankees. I want to see that 28. I want to go to the parade. I've never been to a championship parade, Brandon. I want to go.
Well, I won't be there with you because,
You wouldn't go just for the history of it?
Heck no.
If your Jets won a parade, I'm buying a Chad Pennington jersey and I'm showing up.
I would take you with me. I'm there. I'd call out of work and I'm there. I'll use whatever sick time I got left, and I'm using it. So and you can come with me.
Just for the history of it.
I don't know. My family. I feel like my family, would definitely, especially my grandpa, I don't think it would go well with my family.
Really?
What are you doing at a Yankee parade? It would not be. It would not feel good in my, it would not look good on me. Especially my job. They would say to me, it would not go well. Like, I'll talk about the Mets, and then they'd be like, oh, what were we doing at the 28th parade? I'd be like, you know what I mean? Like, it just wouldn't look good.
Sports fan first.
It's true. But, back to Jazz Chisholm, I think it's got, I think, like I said, he wanted to be a Yankee. I think it's definitely added some juice to the lineup. Gleyber Torres, he's definitely not been a fan favorite for a pretty long time. Still isn't. So
he's
that's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes in the offseason.
He's a free agent at the end of this year. I can't wait to tell people. I remember when he was on the Yankees. I mean that in an offensive way. I do. There's a story that he didn't want to move over to third for Jazz Chisholm. Jazz Chisholm never played third base a day in his life, shows up looking like Craig Nettles. Greg Nettles? I always forget. Looking like my boy Greg. Looking like Robin Ventura. Looking like A-Rod. Are those the only good Yankees third baseman ever? Chase Headley. He had a couple weeks for us.
Really? Wow, Chase Headley. That's great.
You know, it's a good glove.
I remember Chase Headley. Yeah.
And here comes Gleyber Torres, one of our worst players, wanting to go into business for himself. Really? I'm going to be honest. I really had a problem with that. And then the other day, for whatever reason, I forget what it was, Aaron Boone's giving him flack on the top step of the dugout. Gleyber Torres, that is. And this is a great game. Do you have FS1?
I believe I do, yes.
Pirates Padres is a great game. I don't know if you want to throw it on.
I'll throw it on a bit.
But yeah, I'm done with Gleyber Torres. Done. Like, how many opportunities is this guy going to have? He was playing out of his doggone mind before the trade deadline. You know who he reminds me of? Oh, this isn't a good comp. I see the hat right here. I don't know why I can never figure this out with the camera. It's unbelievable. I've been doing this for over a year now. He reminds me of DeAndre Ayton.
Wow. Not DeAndre Ayton.
After 2021, watching DeAndre Ayton play for the Phoenix Suns was like pulling teeth. Back when the Eastern Observer had the website up and running, I covered the Suns. Some of you may not know that. Yes, Denis Tuohy, Phoenix Suns sports writer, wrote like 30, 40 articles. You could read the progressive descent into madness DeAndre Ayton sent me down. And he was one of my favorite players. He was my favorite current Sun player before last year. And it was the same vibe. Body language horrible. Lack of consistent effort. Couldn't play defense the way he used to. Didn't try. Offensively, wasn't hustling the way he used to. It's the same thing. He's baseball DeAndre Ayton. That's not a compliment, Gleyber. And again, I'm sure he's a nice guy. And I remember last week or a few weeks ago, before the Yankees got good again, do you remember what I said? Do you remember who I blamed a lot of it for?
No, I don't remember.
Aaron Judge. Do you remember I said I blamed Aaron Judge because Marcus Stroman kind of gave grief to Gleyber Torres and Judge was like, we don't do that here. And I didn't like that.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand that. It's okay to get on guys and whatnot. And I think someone has to just give him tough love. But after he got benched by Aaron Boone, he turned it around. And then again, it's just like, it's not consistent. You know, another way to look at it is, do you know when somebody's a new hire at your job, all of a sudden, employee of the month shows up, strolling through the door. Hey, good for you. Get back to me after you're on the job 3 months. Get back to me when you're back on the job for a year. 2 years, whatever. When you're on the grind, kid.
Yeah.
Then it's a different work ethic. You get complacent. You get a little lazy. Perhaps a little easygoing. Lackadaisical.
Yeah, man.
Go ahead. What are your thoughts?
You know, I like what the it's good to see what the Yankees are doing. You know, I hope the Mets keep going and try to get better than them. But like I said, no, I think the Jazz Chisholm was a good move by them, and hopefully they keep it going and they're on their part. Like I said, I'm a Mets fan. Like I said, hopefully the Mets get better than them. But like I said, I know they just released JD Davis, and I think he signed. I forgot who he signed with, but
he signed somewhere.
I believe he did for the Yankees. I just hope they. Actually, no, yeah, like I said, I'm a Mets fan. But either way, In terms of the Yankees, you would hope that they would try to find ways to keep pushing. Don't get into slumps or losing streaks like they did. I feel like it's like a yearly thing. They keep doing that. But I like what's going on with the Yankees. They look good. I have to respect it. Now to the Mets, quick before we have to wrap up. I know it was not a good road trip for them so far, as they lost 2 straight to the Angels and they lost last night to the Rockies. Definitely a weird game last night in the Rockies. I didn't like last night's game. It was definitely a weird game. The first game of the Rockies series. They're actually about to play in a couple minutes. I know a lot of the Mets. Hopefully, they get some bullpen pieces back, and so we'll see. The wild card's not easy. It's the NL East wild card, man. It's not easy. So the Mets, they just got to win every game that comes. Opportunity. Right now, they're currently 7th. They're only a game and a half back. It's the Braves got better, the Padres got better, the Diamondbacks are on like a sick winning streak. So the Mets, they got to keep hot, or else they're going to be left out of the playoff.
Yeah. The Mets got to, it's not, well, it was a good year. They got to make the playoffs. But the amount of guys that aren't on this team next year, they got to make the playoffs.
No, I agree.
No ifs, ands, or buts. They've got to get it going. Because we've been saying it all year. The difference between the last competitive team in the standings and a playoff spot in the National League is not going to be what it is in the American League. It's going to come down to a game or two in the NL. Everyone counts. Everyone counts. You don't got Senga. The cavalry's not coming. Look around you in the locker room. This is it. This is it. Cleon Jones ain't coming through that door.
That's a pretty good comparison.
Tug McGraw ain't walking through that door. No guarantees. No guarantees.
Andy Chavez ain't coming through the door.
No,
Dylan Strawberry's
not.
not coming through the door. Doc Gooden's not coming through the door. Todd Hundley's not going to come through the door. Mike Piazza's not coming through the door.
Paul LaDuca's only going in there with the press pass, brother. That's it.
So no, I agree. They definitely got to make the playoffs. This is, like I said, in the words of Eminem, you only get one shot. Don't miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. Yo. So I agree. And it's not like they haven't been good. They've been playing great baseball.
Yeah.
But they just, some days that you can't win them all. But like I said, the teams are going to go into slumps once in a while. It happens. So, hopefully the Mets find a way to pick it up.
And the weird thing is, right before this listen, West Coast road trips are weird in all sports. If we're going to be real, they're weird in all sports. At the time zone difference, whatever the case may be. They looked good before this too. Jeff McNeil, my guy.
Yeah, man. Hopefully, when we go to Fanatics Fest, I hope to get a memorabilia from him.
If I see Jeff McNeil there, I'm going to say to him, "Listen, do you listen to my podcast?" No, that's a good thing. We're on a good start. Def Leppard, Rock of Ages, dude. Hell yeah. That's what I'm going to tell him. And he's going to say to me, I like you. I'm like, I like you too. And he said, you have a podcast? I'd love to check it out. What's it called? I'm like, Battin and Chattin. Oh, that's great. Don't listen to any of the back episodes. Wait, what? Thanks for meeting you.
Hey, thanks for meeting.
Just walk away. Jeff, my guy, flying squirrel.
Yeah, man.
Keep rocking, brother. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell him, are you getting it? He's like, I'm getting it. I'm like, I love this guy. I'm going to walk away. Because I wouldn't have the heart to be like, dude, I've been trying to trade you on my podcast for like a month and a half, for like a year and a half. Basically.
Like I said, no, I said but then I turned before he got good. It's before the players get good. I did it with Lindor, then I did it with McNeil. I said it before when they were in this. I said, you know what? With Lindor, I said I apologize to Lindor. He's been a great shortstop for us. I can't take him for granted. He's been on a tear. Now people talking about him potentially being an NL MVP.
Mm-hmm.
That's how good he's been playing. If he's going to get it, who knows? But he's been playing like an NL MVP. Jeff McNeil, I was saying it. I'm like, hey, like they should maybe find a way to get a bullpen piece and trade him. But then at the same time, I kept saying on the podcast that either way, he's been with us through the bad times and the good times. He's been a great hitter. And if someone gets hurt, he's a great guy that's going to step up. So definitely should keep him. They kept the pieces they can. They added on. And so, yeah, now that it's just all up to them. And so he's been playing great. His OPS is way out the door. He's been playing better. I don't know what happened. Something turned around, and he's actually been like a reliable hitter.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the lineup tonight, actually, and that's all I got to say. Is there anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
He should finish a top 5 NL MVP voting, in my opinion. They have just the Mets schedule real quick, as we mentioned, they're going on a road trip, but who are they playing? 3 against Colorado, 3 against Seattle, 3 against Oakland, which we're going to. That's going to be at home, the Oakland series. Yes. And we're going to be seeing Paul Blackburn, his first game against his old team.
That's going to be fun.
Listen, 3 against Colorado and a struggling Seattle team, which have been 500 basically since June. Mets, it's clobbering time.
There you go.
I'm mad that you walked away right when I said it. It's clobbering time, New York Mets. You got to get going, kid. You got to get going. Come on. Give me something. Give me something. And of course, my computer. Oh my gosh! Since I got iTunes,
I caught some of the clobbering time thing. I caught that.
I wanted to see your. I wanted to see the reaction.
No, I did. No, that was good. I didn't expect that comment. That was good.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be a new catch thing. You will have one of these.
I can't wait to get sued, but that means we're getting views.
There you go. Hey,
look at that.
All right. I guess that's it.
Yeah, I think we've overstayed our welcome a bit.
All right. We thank you for joining us on another edition of Battin and Chattin. For my co-host Denis Tuohy and the entire Blackjack Media Group team, I'm Brandon Natale saying so long, and we'll see you next time.